Hello everybody and welcome back to round number 5 of TTL at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix. So let's go through and jump straight through to the drivers' standings. So we have Blizzard on top on 68 points, Spikes in second on 63, Darren Sinclair in third place on 58 points, then it's Straw in fourth on 37 points, Lighty in fifth on 30 points, Raikkonen in 6th on 27 points, Sao Paulo in 7th on 25, the Gortz in 8th on 20 points, and then Crazy Legs has retired from the season. He'll stay on 15 points for the rest of it. Useless there is in 10th place on 14 points. Then we have Humbug and CG on joint 11th, both on 12 points. Maze is only a point behind in 13th. Steph in 14th with 6 points. Alan K is in 15th with 3 points. Weed Nation in 16th on 2 points. And then Paisl's in 17th, having scored only the single point. Then we move on to the constructors' standings. So Williams are top on 70 points. Then it's Renault just behind on 69 points. Toro Rosso in third on 61. Then it's Mercedes and Sauber on joint fourth on 42 points. In sixth place, Force India on 37 points. Then it's McLaren with 34 points. In eighth place, Red Bull on 27 points. Then it's Ferrari in ninth with 22 points. And still yet to score a point this season is Haas. They're at the bottom there with 0 points. So of course Blizzard is not in this race today, so anything can happen, and of course it normally does in Formula 1. We could be seeing a new championship leader at the end of this race. For now though, let's go straight on to the hot lap.
So then, here we go, round the final corner for round 5 here, the Circuit de Catalunya, a very balanced track with straights and high-speed corners, testing the downforce and the drag of the cars as we head down the long straight here into turn 1, which leads into turns 2 and 3. Getting these right is absolutely crucial. The long right-hander of turn 3, have a wider entry so that you can stay really much flat out throughout the turn here. Don't run too wide onto that left-hand side, you'll regret it as you head into turn 4 now. Brake nice and early, don't lock up, and watch the wheel spin coming out of turn 4. Now heading into turn 5, the track dips away from you, it's very easy to lock a tyre up. Brake that slight bit earlier, make sure you don't run too wide onto the outside there as you head into this slight kink of 6. Now into turn 7 and 8, watch the traction on turn 7 as you head out of turn 8, you get a load of oversteer if you're not careful. Now come up to turn 9, lift off the throttle but don't change down as you head now into the DRS zone, down the second DRS straight as we head into turn 10 now. This slight hairpin, but not quite a hairpin. As we head out of that, make sure you don't take too much curve out of turn 11, unsettles the car as you head into turn 12. Long right-hander for 12 again, don't run too wide, be patient with the throttle. Into turn 13 now as you head round into the chicane of turn 14 and 15. Be conservative with those curbs. On the inside there of 15, you can attack that curve as you head round now. Keep the steering wheel as light as possible around turn 16, DRS open, across the start-finish straight, and that is a lap of Spain. Now, it's on to qualifying.
A full grid of 20 cars, something we all love to see in league racing. And of course, if you still want to sign up as a reserve driver, you still can for TTL racing every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 PM. I mean, all the cars are taken up now. We have saved McLaren, thankfully, but you can still sign up as a reserve driver. Drivers are still needed though for the sister league, the Friday league, which races every Friday at 8 PM. If you want to join us, please contact Maze. You can see in position 17 there. That's the man you need to be talking to. He'll set you up with a trial, and maybe you can make it one day here into TTL. Meanwhile though, we are just going to focus on the 20 drivers we have here. A bit of a driver change up as we see Poe here in the McLaren, one of the new McLaren drivers, as is Baumgartner. Those are the 2 new signings for McLaren, and they'll be hoping to get a good start as both of their debuts in this race. Now, I said in the build-up that a certain someone wasn't here, but as you'll quite clearly see, Blizzard is here. So he must have heard me saying, "Oh, he's not here. We might have a new championship leader," and thought, "No, I'm going to change that." So fair play to him. He's pulled it out of the bag and made it here. He's in the pause menu right now though, so I think he did that on the formation lap and said he was eating or something like that. So just a quick snack and a quick drink before the qualifying laps. Now, I'm not quite sure who was first out onto track, but we can have a look at some of the good drivers out there. Darren Sinclair, of course, keeping an eye on him, as well as Spike as well. Alan Kay is probably going to be one of the first to set a lap time. Weed Nation out there as well. So Weed Nation, it looks like Humbug's already retired from the session, and he's hit the wall and hit it hard. Well, okay then, so no lap time for Humbug then. He will be starting towards the back. Well, that is a very odd place to lose the car. Did he get involved in an incident? Well, he will be starting from the back of the grid now. Lighty as well, right behind Spike as well. Problem is, with everyone bunched up like this, you've got to keep yourself some space, and I don't think Light's going to help himself if he stays this close to Spike. It will help him down the main straight as Light decides not this time around. He's going to come in and wait for a bit and find some cleaner air. So Weed Nation will probably be the first person to set a lap time if I've got that right at all. So we'll see what's going to happen to him as well. We'll turn on some of this telemetry, and well, the logo might cover up half the telemetry, so that is, we might as well turn that off then. So there we go then, Weed Nation making his way around here. It's an interesting track. Still getting used to this turn 14, 15 chicane. Of course, used to be the turn 13, then straight into 14. But of course, they've got this chicane here that they've had for a while now, leading then onto turn 16. But you know, it's still getting used to as Weed Nation now comes across the line, and he sets a 120.2. Plaster there setting a 121.2 as we see Blizzard head towards the line now. He sets a 119.3 and goes top of the table. Darren Sinclair and Spike we have to keep an eye on. So, oh, we've got a McLaren there really in the firing line though. I think that was Poe. I think he just got the rear end lost in that chicane. Traw sets a 119.0 and so does Darren Sinclair. Sets a 119.008, which is instantly beaten by Spike, who gets into the 118s. 118.923. Good lap from Spike then, as we're going to see some of the others. Steph there setting a 120.4 on medium tyres. That's a mega lap. Plaster there on 121.2. A little piece there on the medium tyres, 121.2 as well. Alan Kay setting a 121.9. We have Useless here coming through the last chicane now. He should be the next one to set a lap time. So Useless coming around that final corner now, onto the start-finish straight, DRS wide open, and Useless goes a P8, 120.5. Raikkonen sets a 120.4, as I've lost my cursor, there it is. Very hard to see a cursor on a bright screen like that, but CG now starting his lap. We've got Shunts as well. He's on his out lap 2. So at the moment then, Spike on a 118.9 has pole position for now. Of course, a long way to go in this qualifying session. The top 3, by the way, separated by just over a tenth of a second. Incredible lap times from all 3 of them. And we'll see here Shunts go onto his flying lap now. CG here on his lap here, sector 2 is a 22.4. I'm not quite sure what that means, but as he heads through that fast turn 9 there, a very tricky corner to get right as we now head towards turn 10. It's a sort of left-handed kind of hairpin, but not really, as CG negotiating it pretty well. We head now towards the latter stage of the lap through turn 13. Temptation to chuck the car in there is very high, but ill-advised. Now CG's rounding the final corner. Up towards the start-finish line he goes. DRS is open, and he sets a 119.9. So that's a good lap for CG on those medium tyres, and the only person on the medium tyres who gets into the 119s for now. Shunts then is the next person to set a lap time, and we'll see what sort of lap time he'll set as he heads through now. That's a difficult part of the track. Make sure you don't catch the curb on the inside of turn 11. It just unbalances the car. It's horrible after that. We're heading through now to this chicane. As you can see, the old track layout there, where it was just all one sort of 2 fast right-handers. But as Shunts heads towards the line now, and he sets a 1:23.6 that was invalidated. So I'm wondering now if he's going to go again. He's still got the DRS open, so looks like he will be. Locks up going into turn 1. But Shunts again going for another lap. So then Poe on an out lap. We've got Light out there as well on an out lap. Baumgartner. Now, is he on a out lap or is he on a flying lap? Baumgartner is on a flying lap now. And it was Poe earlier on that got it wrong in the chicane there. Baumgartner, I think, also abandoned the lap as well. He did go out there, but maybe it was just an installation lap to see if that Honda engine's running okay. As we head towards the actual in-season testing in Formula 1, not to date this episode or anything, as Baumgartner loses the back end there, just about keeps it in check. If he keeps going, he could still set a decent lap time. DRS wide open, just about caught that. Of course, the Honda engine looking a bit more reliable going into the 2018 real-life season, but a lot could be said about in-season testing, but we'd rather not. Baumgartner then, will he carry on with his flying lap, as we see now Useless and Little Piece and also Spike heading out for their out lap for the second lap time. So Baumgartner then, what can he do? Will he set a lap time or will he pit in? He pits in, so still yet to set a lap then. Mays is also on a flying lap, as is Pazels. So we'll keep an eye on those then. As Lighty heads towards the start-finish line now, we'll see, keep an eye on Poe as well. So Lighty rounding this chicane once again and runs a little onto the curb there and not quite as he heads towards the line now. He sets a 1:19.6 and goes P5 in qualifying right now. We've got Poe then heading towards the line, a 1:19.0. Good session from him so far. We see Mays and Pazels still yet to set a lap as well. So as Mays rounds that turn 12 into 13 and then through the chicane of 14 and 15. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but it shouldn't affect him too much as he heads around the final corner. What can Mays do in the Mercedes? Heads towards the line now, and it's a 1:20.1, sets him P10. Pazers then round that chicane, runs a little wide, gets a little bit of oversteer, but he's rounding that final corner, heading towards the line. What time can he set? It's a 1:21.7. He qualifies P17 for now. So then Spike on a lap, flying that there now. Poe will be heading back to the pits, I think. But Blizzard down there in 5th as he's just about to join the circuit now. He's going to leave it as late as possible to try and get the best track possible that he can set a qualifying time on. Meanwhile, though, Spike and Darren Sinclair are out there right now. Spike is on a flying lap, Darren Sinclair isn't. So can Spike improve on his time, and will he go for 2 laps rather than the 1 as he gets, I'm not sure if that was oversteer or just a bit of lag there. Either way though, he's still pushing on, locking up, heading into the chicane, and he's just aggressively taking those curbs, just about keeping the car in check then. He rounds the final corner, heads towards the start-finish line and goes quicker, 1:18.8. Putting massive pressure on Darren Sinclair as well as he takes another 10th off his lap time. We've seen it before, Darren Sinclair just knows how to get those extra half a second laps that no one else can seem to get. But, well, he's got to find 3/10s here at least. Poe then is also, I think he's still on a lap, is he? It certainly looks like it, by the way he's pushing he is. So we'll keep an eye on Poe as well. As we'll see, is anyone close to finishing a lap here? We saw Mays going up to P7. We've also got the Gort out there as well. He's heading towards the start-finish line. The Gort then, what time can he set as he heads towards the line? It's a 1:19.2 and it sets him up to P6. Darren Sinclair though, heading around. Force India just gets out of the way, as does the McLaren there. Ghosting to try and get out of the way, and the McLaren there getting quite close to that Force India there I saw, but we'll keep focused on Darren Sinclair as he's going to round that final corner any second now. There he goes, heads towards the line now. This looks quick, and it is quick, 1:18.7. That's what I was talking about. He just knows where to find those extra tenths of a second when he really needs them. Darren Sinclair has pulled it out of the bag for now anyway. Yellow flags in sector 2 as we have Steph going slowly. That will be the cause of the yellow flags, just letting some cars through, and he'll be on his way again. So then Spike and Poe are in the pit, so they can't be challenging for a new lap time here. Darren Sinclair retires from the session as the checkered flag falls. We've got Steph there, who will not be setting a lap time. The Gort then will be, as will Blizzard. We've got Little Piece out on track as well. He's just about made it, as CG still pushing on as well. Useless is out there, Plaster, and Baumgartner. So can Baumgartner finally get a lap time on the board? He can, and he goes P19 for his first race. Little Piece on his way then. We're going to keep an eye on Blizzard here, as Blizzard goes 1:18.7, takes pole position for now. There are only a couple of people now who can... well, there was one of them, the Gort, but he's retired from the session. Little Piece then, still on his way. Traw is now retired from the session. He doesn't feel like that lap time would have worked, as we have Mays there up into 9th, as CG, I believe that was, puts himself up into 6th place. Good lap from him. Little Piece then, rounding that final corner. Can he improve on his time? No, he can't. Stays P12. Useless then, I think the last person to set a lap time, and as you can see on the steering wheel, goes 11th place there. So Blizzard takes pole position for round number 5. So then, by just under a tenth of a second there, as we see Light E gets a 5-place grid penalty going into the race, so we'll have to take that into account. Humbug, of course, didn't set a lap time. Darren Sinclair 2nd, Spike in 3rd, Poe in 4th, Traw in 5th, CG 6th, Steph in 7th, the Gort's in 8th, Mays in 9th, and Light E in 10th, although he will have a 5-place grid penalty given to him by the game, maybe because of that incident earlier on. All that said and done, the race is coming up after this edit. As we get to the quarter of the way stage here, it doesn't seem like that, but after this race, a quarter of the season will have been completed. And, well, it's definitely close. You can definitely tell the rivals so far this season. And what will be on everybody's mind is who will get the win today. At the moment, it's only between 3 people for now, but everything in Formula 1 normally does happen in a short space of time. So we're going to come up to the formation laps now, as we'll go through every driver and the ones we need to keep our eyes on. So then, for the formation lap, away we go. And let's have a look at all the tyres everybody's starting on. So a big one, Raikkonen there, is starting on the hard tyres there. So he's the only one and the only man on the hard tyres for now. Going on to the medium runners, Useless there because he did qualify outside of the top 10. He will get to start on any tyre he chooses, even though he's in 10th place. Light E, on the other hand, will have to start on the tyres he qualified on because he qualified in the top 10. So already he's at a very big disadvantage there. Alan Kay is on the medium tyres, as is Baumgartner for his first race, and also Humbug, who did not, well, he crashed out in qualifying. It looked like an incident with Light E, but we will have to look at that after the race. Blizzard, though, championship leader, and he's hoping to keep up this good form. He'll have to hold off Spike, who is in 3rd place in this race, but 2nd in the championship. Darren Sinclair as well, hoping to make a charge up the field and try and get a title challenge underway, with Crazy Legs retiring from this season and probably from the series altogether. Darren Sinclair may have thought that this would be an easy job, but Blizzard and Spike have other ideas. Of course, Spike an ex-champion as well. It's not going to be easy, this one, and especially with Blizzard in the mix, it's going to be a great battle, I'm sure it is. Always look out for Traw. He always knows what he's doing, and he can always pull out some sort of stops here to challenge the front runners. Watch out for the Gort as well, who in the Mercedes with Mays, they always seem to be close together when they complete qualifying. Also, of course, watch out for Raikkonen, a true underdog, and on those hard tyres, watch out for him towards the end of the race. With that said and done though, we've got to get ready for the race. So after this edit, it will be the race. So then, here we go then. 5 red lights for round 5. They're out. And off they go. What are the starts like as we head towards the first turn? Darren Sinclair gets into the slipstream of Blizzard. Meanwhile, though, Spike tries to go down the inside. Will Darren Sinclair lose positions or can he hold the fort? As we head into turn 1 now, as has everybody got through cleanly as Blizzard tries to hold the outside line as we'll head through now. And we'll have to see if anybody makes it off. And Darren Sinclair's wide, and he's lost the car. Darren Sinclair's is into the gravel there, and he's lost all that time. And I'm not sure what that was, but he just ran wide coming into turn number 3. And Force India's gone off as well. I think that was useless there. Useless getting caught up in that spat there. Meanwhile, though, we've got Raikkonen now on the outside of Shuntz there, and Shuntz holding his own out there as Darren Sinclair has fallen to 11th place. So a lot to do for him right now as Little Piece runs wide, and the perfect opportunity for Weed Nation and Little Piece here. Look at the cars as they file down, and Darren Sinclair's going to try and move up the inside, make slight contact with Little Piece coming into turn 10, but he does get the position and moves up into 10th place now as Plaster falls to 15th place now, as we've got the Toro Rosso there, and then Red Bull, I believe that is Raikkonen. Yes, it is. Trying to go around the outside of Shuntz. Shuntz here trying to be defensive, and that could cost him, as Raikkonen here trying to unsettle him. As we've got the Ferrari here of Light trying to get past Raikkonen as well, and down the long straight that might happen. Shuntz here now trying to go down the inside of Weed Nation. We've got Darren Sinclair up ahead trying to get past Little Piece as well, as Little Piece, and Darren Sinclair's off again. Into the gravel he goes, and this time he could be going to the back of the grid. He's just got to keep it out of that wall and just regain that composure as well, as he falls now to dead last, and he's got to think about now changing strategy surely. But he will keep pushing on. If I know Darren Sinclair, and I think I do, he's not going to let that get to him. He's going to be more riled up than ever to just pump in those fastest laps, of course. What a opening few laps this has been so far. We've got the two teammates here, the Gort and Mays. They always seem to find each other on the same bit of track, these two teammates, as Mays runs slightly wide there. That's going to compromise his exit, throw a bit of dust in the air as well. We've got Weed Nation on the back of Shuntz as Shuntz locks up going into turn 10 there. As we head through turn 11, just keep an eye on that curve there. That's going to cause some tyre wear and some problems later on in the race. Raikkonen then still on the attack. He's in 13th, around about where he started, still on the hard tyres. And if he's keeping up with the cars ahead and trying to get away from the cars behind, that's all he needs for now, because he's playing the long game around guys that are on the soft tyres. So we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, though, Traw, this means with Darren Sinclair at the back of the pack, Traw has moved up into 3rd place. So Blizzard then leads the way. Spike is in 2nd, Traw is in 3rd, CG 4th. Poe is in 5th, Steph in 6th as he runs slightly wide, the Gort's in 7th, Mays in 8th, Little Piece there in 9th, Shuntz is in 10th as Weed Nation in 11th, so as I look, Light is in 12th, 13th is Raikkonen, Plaster's in 14th, Humbug 15th, Useless is in 16th, Baumgartner's in 17th, Paisl's in 18th, Alan Kay is in 19th place, and Darren Sinclair finds himself at the back of the grid. As Blizzard runs very wide there. A bit much wider than my liking, I think, but we will, of course, leave it to Blizzard. He is the championship leader. So CG here on the back of Traw, trying to gain this position and try and get onto the podium as well, as we look for some battles out there. This looks like a good one, as Shuntz here in front of Weed Nation, Light, Raikkonen. This is the battle for 10th place right now, as Shuntz here doing his best to try and catch Little Piece as well. So in this midfield then, it's going to be a tasty battle. As we'll see now, 15th place, I see Humbug is only 3/10 behind Plaster here. With DRS activated now, this could be Humbug's chance to try and get past, as Alan Kay drops to the back of the field now. As Humbug now, has he got the move on Plaster done? Yes, he has. Up the inside he goes into turn 2, and he's got the move done there. Perfect move from the Haas, and he'll be trying to get Haas's first points on the board. CG currently in 4th place as Alan Kay retires from the session. He comes into the pits and that'll be his day done. Blaster is in 4th place right now. Sorry, let me start again. Blaster in 15th right now. I was looking at the wrong board as you can see there on the dirt there of Poe's tyres. He had gone off. Sector 1 yellow flags will be Alan Kay's car, which is now pulled to the side in all of that because it was retired from the race, of course. So Steph's dropping back from the top 5. So maybe he's just playing a long game at the moment. We've got yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, but that still will probably be Alan Kay's car. Meanwhile, Shuntz is right on the back of Little Piece now. Into the DRS zone he goes, and what can he do about this? Can he get a position up? Moves to the inside, heading towards turn 1. It's a long straight, perfect for DRS. Has Shuntz got the move done on Little Piece? Moves back across, and before the braking zone, Shuntz is ahead of Little Piece and moves up into 9th place. Meanwhile, Humbug and Raikkonen having a battle there, but Humbug moves up now into 13th place on those medium tyres. Little Piece in the other Haas is in the points right now, and this is what Haas need right now. Still haven't got any points on the board, and this is the 5th round, so they'll be hoping to get some consistency and get some points on the board as soon as possible. Poe is in 5th place in his first race, I would say, of the season. As Poe runs wide, hits the wall there. Oh, he didn't need that. That was the curse of the commentator there. He's lost all of that front wing, and that's he's very lucky to keep that front right tyre in check there. It's going to be a visit to the pits, but that's about it. And maybe a change of strategy. He's lucky to be in this race. Not the end of the world, though. He just needs to limp back to the pits now, as Steph smells blood now, as he knows 5th place is on the horizon. He just only has to stay behind him for now and wait for him to dive into the pits, which he does. But that's going to cost Steph a lot of position here and a lot of time, as the Gort now on the back of Steph now into the DRS zone, into that slipstream as well. Will Steph have a go up the inside? He has a look, but nothing doing right now. As Raikkonen now comes into the pits with no front wing at all. Well, I don't know what's happened there, but we'll try and find a car that maybe was involved. So Raikkonen in the pits along with Poe, and have they actually changed that front wing there from Raikkonen? Well, they changed the tyres. Have they changed the front wing though? I don't think they have. Well, we'll find out going into turn 1 whether Raikkonen has the downforce to keep it in check here. And I think... well, this is odd. I don't think I've really seen this. Let's see Raikkonen going through here. No, they haven't changed the front wing, because that's easily 6th gear through there. You can see the understeer Raikkonen has. So Red Bull have forgotten to change the front wing. Well, I know they forgot Daniel Ricciardo's tyres in Monaco, but forgetting to actually put on a front wing, and there wasn't one in the first place. This is a new low for Red Bull now, and Raikkonen's going to be furious at his mechanics here. Meanwhile, towards the front, we've got a battle between Mays and Shuntz shaping up as we head towards the front straight now, as they're side by side, and Mays runs wide, and well, I think he tried to take evasive action there. I think Mays had a little bit more space than he maybe expected, but rather than lose out and spin out, he's maybe going to lose a position to a Williams as well. But he drops to 9th place, not the end of the world, of course, as Light comes into the pits now. Now, was he caught up with Raikkonen, I wonder? Well, Raikkonen here still out there without a front wing, and he's going to have to change and come into the pits once again, and just don't hit the wall there. That's really important. But Raikkonen then comes into the pits once again, and do Red Bull this time actually have a front wing ready? Let's hope they do, because otherwise Raikkonen might as well just leave Catalunya right now. Raikkonen then, yes, they do put on a front wing this time to Raikkonen's relief. And away he goes on some soft tyres, but that's really thrown a spanner into the works for Raikkonen there. Meanwhile, though, Steph with a wild back end there, trying to close in on the Gort. At the front there, we've got your podium battle right here. We've got Blizzard, Spike and Traw. all on the same bit of straight here, as Spike will be trying to look and see if he can find a way past Blizzard. He's got the perfect opportunity to do it, but I don't think he's going to take it. Has a look, but locks up for going into turn 1 and decides to hold the fort for now. As Mays comes into the pits, he's done here, and this is going to be a strategy change. So Mays goes on to the hard tyres, and that looks like he's going to try and go to the end of the race. Interesting call there from Mays. We'll see if it pays off. Meanwhile, Shunt's still out there in 7th place, closing in on Steph now, who was trying to close in on the Gort. Still is, but he's got pressure from Shunt's now, has Steph, and we'll see how that battle develops. Little piece then on the back of his teammate Humbug, as well, Humbug's pushing his way through the field now. He was 13th the last time we checked in on him. He's now up to 9th place and past his teammate. So a good move from Humbug then. Maybe team orders were slightly in play there, but Humbug is pushing on now, and he's trying to chase down Weed Nation on harder tyres. Shunts then still on the back of Steph, as he makes his way around turn 12. As we've got one of the front runners coming into the pit, it's Spike, as he pits in, decides enough's enough with these tyres. So Blizzard still leads the way. Traw is in 2nd, as CG finds himself in 3rd. Spike is in 4th there. So Spike comes in, and on goes some hard tyres. So yes, this is a strategy change to put him onto the end of the race. So Blizzard and Traw, what will they do? How will they react? And where does Spike rejoin? It looks like he's going to try and rejoin in front of the Renault of Baumgartner, that looks like, and he does. So a little bit of clean air, maybe a little bit more crowded than he would have liked, Spike, but it's not the end of the world, as we see a battle here of Baumgartner and Darren Sinclair. Let's see if we can ride on board with that. We've got Baumgartner on the hard tyres, Darren Sinclair on soft tyres, so this battle won't last too long, I don't think, but Baumgartner in his 2nd race of the season, will be just trying to make some... Sorry, he's on the medium tyres. That's Spike I'm seeing on the hard tyres. I do apologise. As Darren Sinclair is still trying to find a way past Baumgartner. And we'll see now as he heads through turn number 9. As he runs wide once again, as Darren Sinclair just trying to find a way past, dives down the inside into turn 10. Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. And Baumgartner doesn't have a reply. Meanwhile then, Blizzard and CG are into the pit. So Blizzard here from the race lead. Now where is Spike? So he's just coming through the chicane now. So that's a mega outlap here from Spike. So Blizzard here has to serve a penalty as well, does he? Or is he getting held up in pits? Well, look at how many people are in the pits. Yes, he had to wait for traffic, and that is a disaster because Spike's already gone through. Spike's already at turn 1. A disaster for Blizzard, but, well, he's got to just keep pushing on now as he rejoins in 11th place. He's still got runners ahead, as we've seen now Weed Nation has taken an excursion off track, as he'll try and keep that car in check, and he's made contact with Spike. Was that contact, or was that just lag there? I'm not entirely sure, but he did lose that back end and just try to keep it in check. Of course, he's got dirt on the tyres there, which is not going to help his traction. It looks like Spike hasn't got any damage, but he won't be happy, and he'll want to try and get past as soon as possible. As Weed Nation runs wide, and it's a pretty easy move at the end for Spike, but definitely a heart in the mouth moment there. Baumgartner on the back of CG now. CG has found a way past Baumgartner, but he's got to be wary of Blizzard behind him, because that is going to be one person you don't really want to hold up at this point. A championship leader who knows that traffic has cost him and is going to push at every instance. Meanwhile, though, the Haas's may not have stopped yet, but they're finding themselves having a little bit of an inter-team battle right now. So you can see, or hopefully you'll see, the two Haas's there sharing that same bit of track, Humbug and a little piece. Now this is interesting. If you're Haas and you need the points, do you let your drivers battle, or do you tell them to just stay behind one each other and try and get some points home? They haven't stopped yet, of course, and they'll just be hoping to try and get as many points as possible from this race, just get them on the board. So Darren Sinclair then emerges from the pit lane behind Weed Nation, and he could emerge behind Plaster, and he does, as Weed Nation and Plaster now go side by side going through turn 2, and they come very close to each other. Darren Sinclair's got to pick his moment, and he'll try around the outside. Will he? No, he won't. And well, the three of them there trying to share the same bit of track wasn't really going to happen, especially through turns 1, 2 and 3. Heading through turn 4 now, and you'll see Plaster here, who has made a stop already, but Weed Nation on medium tyres will be trying to find a way past, and he will do now if he's going down the inside, heading towards turn 7 now and into 8. Can they keep it clean going through here? Yes, they can, but Darren Sinclair now sees the open door from Weed Nation, but can he keep his composure to try and get past? They head through turn 9 into the DRS zone. And now the three of them here are going to try and battle each other. Weed Nation goes up the inside and tries that move there. Hand of Rage comes up from Plaster. Weed Nation finds a way through, and Darren Sinclair up the inside of Plaster as well, finds himself through and up into 16th place. Now he's got Weed Nation to take care of, as Darren Sinclair fights to get back into the points. Coming down the start-finish straight now, we'll have to keep an eye on the battle with Spike as well on Useless. So Useless hasn't stopped yet, and this will, you would think, it'd be an easier move than Darren Sinclair's move, as he tries to go around the outside. Meanwhile, Darren Sinclair uses that DRS and gets ahead of Weed Nation, and gets ahead at last for him. Meanwhile though, Spike and Useless fighting, as Useless runs slightly wide there. That's because of his tyre wear, but you'll see here Spike not going to let up at all. He's using all the track and more, as Spike now going down the inside. Can he get that move done? He goes down the inside, locks up, as Useless breaks earlier than usual there, but Spike has got the move done, and he finds himself up back into the podium places. Blizzard finds himself in 6th. Meanwhile though, Steph and Baumgartner having a good battle there, as Steph finds a way past Baumgartner and up into 7th, up into 8th place. Lighty then on the back of Mays, and he's taken that turn 11 curb with some force there, as Traw comes into the pits. Humbug will take the lead of the race for now, and Lighty then trying to find a way past Mays, but can he do it? He's taken too much of that inside curb there going through turn 15. That's not going to help his exit too much, but he's got the DRS, so it's not the end of the world for him. So Lighty then could try and find a way past Mays here, and this will be important for their constructors battle. Lighty then, will he try and find a way down the inside? He does try it down the inside into turn 1. Mays doesn't put up too much of a fight. Lighty finds himself back up into 11th place. So with Spike having got past Useless, Traw there is up into 4th place. He's rejoined there, and he'll be hoping to try and get past Useless as well. Blizzard then finds himself in 6th place. We'll see all the stops now. As you can see, Useless and Humbug haven't stopped yet, but CG has. So it looks like then Blizzard's going to have to try and get past CG on track for position. Steph then still on the back of the Gort here, and well, on soft tyres against medium, Steph is likely going to have to stop again, but he's trying to avoid those hard tyres wherever he can. Draw then right on the inside here into the slipstream of Useless. A good opportunity, if not his best, to try and get past Useless now and get back onto the podium, as Useless there goes defensive, heading into turn 1 here, and well, there you go, Traw's past Useless, just better tyres, better conditioned tyres, and Useless is going to start himself falling down the field because he hasn't stopped yet, and those medium tyres look like they're going off. I appreciate what Useless is trying to do though. He's trying to get those medium tyres as far into the race as possible, so that the soft tyres are the only tyres he has to use. But we've seen in this league before, time and time again, that it's the one stop that usually works. But I'm not for the one for trying, that's for sure. Baumgartner then is in 10th place right now, as he finds himself behind Shunts, as he's looking to try and close the gap and get an overtake under his belt in this race as well. Poe, who had a good qualifying session, is in 14th right now on the medium tyres, and he's just trying to push on his way and try and catch up to Little Piece there in 13th. Darren Sinclair is in 15th right now on the hard tyres, pushing towards the end of the race, and well, the gap now to the leader is 28 seconds, but you can see the gap between him and a point here, that's Baumgartner, is around 13 seconds. So it's doable. Humbug finally pits, and that means Spike is released, and he takes the lead of the race. Draw then up into second, CG now into third, and Blizzard will find himself in fourth place. Now, where does Humbug rejoin? We see Useless there pitting in at the same time as well. And that is a lovely, that's a lovely lid there you've got, Humbug. I will say that right now. Very eye-catching. I really like that one. Anyway, enough of this driver favouritism. Let's see where Humbug rejoins. He rejoins behind his teammate Littlepiece and rejoins into this battle here that we're seeing for, I think it's 8th place, is it? It might be for 10th, actually. No, it's for 9th place. Sort of a train forming, I think, here. This for 9th place then. So Humbug's rejoined very nicely into this battle now with Littlepiece on the medium tyres. It looks like he's going to try and have to stop again. So we now see Steph on the back of the Gort there, and you can see he ran wide coming into turn 8 there. So a little bit of mistake from Steph there, but not the end of the world. He's still on the tail here. As I'm trying to find my cursor here because it's always difficult to see it. We see now Poe on the back of Useless. Now Useless has made his stop. Poe here is on the medium tyres and has a look up the inside of Useless, but not quite there yet. Spike sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:21.9, and oh, that's very well. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think there was a bit of lag there, but Useless there find himself rear-ended by Poe there, and well, he's gone flying off the track there. Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw Useless's car go into the air there, but I don't think there was any damage there to Poe at all. No, there isn't. So that is that's a lag crash I saw there. So, well, I don't often see those, but there we go. Now Useless is under pressure from Weed Nation now. Weed Nation trying to go round the outside into turn 1. And has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Unless Useless can try and fade away round the outside. As we're seeing now on board as Light and Baumgartner are having a good battle there. But we're going to stay on board with Useless right now. Here we go then, Light and Baumgartner we're riding on board with. The battle for 8th place as Baumgartner tries to hold his own around the outside, but Light, it looks like on the hard tyres, even though it's showing up as soft, is not getting it done. Maze there losing out to Littlepiece there. Did Maze run wide? Because now he's under pressure from Humbug here as he goes round the outside, heading into turn 10 there. As Maze tries to keep defensive, he's actually lost a position out here to Humbug. Well, Maze tried to defend the position for all he had, and he's lost all of that time. As we see now, we see Blizzard heading up into 3rd place, and now he's on a charge now. He can see Traw, and then Spike is not far up the road now. This is his chance now to try and get this win back, and it'll be a hell of a drive if he can. Littlepiece then up the inside of Baumgartner, and he's up into 9th place right now, and this is some much needed points for Haas. It may only be 2 points for now, but Humbug is on a charge as well, and if the Haases keep up this pace, they may find themselves in the midfield sooner than you know. CG here is in 4th place, losing time now to Blizzard. Meanwhile, though, Steph still trying to chase down the Gort on those soft tyres, and those soft tyres must be screaming at him right now as he runs wide. That's not going to help them at all as he kept the car in check. Oh, that's amazing driving there to keep that car under control as the sort of a Max Verstappen-esque lock up the brakes and turn the car around, as I think now is the time to change those tyres as Shunts there gets ahead of Steph as well. Those tyres will be shot now, especially after that spin. So we'll see if Steph comes into the pit. Meanwhile, though, Humbug said he was on a charge. He's now got past Baumgartner, and the two Haases now are in point-scoring positions. Steph, though, is staying out, and he's going to try and get past Shunts now. Into the DRS zone he goes, and this is the battle for 6th place right now. Steph knows he has the pace to get back 6th place. It's whether he has the tyres for it. Heading into the turn 1 now as Shunts locks up as he tries to defend the position. Steph, though, on the soft tyres. Not much competition there at all from Shunts, just the tyre difference. Meanwhile, though, behind him, Maze has managed to get past Baumgartner, and now Baumgartner's teammate, Poe, is trying to find a way past. behind him is Darren Sinclair, who's launched it up the inside of Poe and is now up into 13th place. He's got a charge on now. He's got the bit between his teeth, and Darren Sinclair now can smell those points. Any point now will do, and it will help towards the end of the season as well. Shunts here, still trying to chase down Steph through the turn 7-8 complex there, but on the soft tyre, I don't think he's going to have much luck, but he is going to have a go around the outside here, locks up, going into turn 10 here, but Steph holds his own there and keeps to the inside. But Shunts is still not done. He's still trying to find a way past Steph here, as I've now got to try and keep my eye here on this battle. That's the battle with Darren Sinclair. And, well, there must have been some sort of contact, because Darren Sinclair's let Poe back through. And has he let him back through? Has he got front wing damage again? I think he has. The left-hand side of that front wing is damaged again. Oh, what's happened here is Darren Sinclair goes off the track and gets himself a 3-second time penalty for good measure. Comes into the pit lane once again. And how frustrating is this for him? He just wants a race now, as we see Steph Baumgartner, Poe there into the pits. He's now going to have to queue behind his teammate. So not the end of the world then for Darren Sinclair, as he puts on a set of medium tyres that will get him to the end of the race. Baumgartner goes for soft tyres. Interesting call there. So, well, this is I think these are the guys that have got the higher tyre wear. They're going for a more sort of conservative race strategy rather than trying to be trying to make some tyres last. They'd rather use as many pairs of tyres as possible than to have a puncture late on. So, well, for Darren Sinclair then, he's down in 18th place right now on the medium tyres, and I'm not quite sure what happened into that complex there, but we saw a lot of drivers pit, so that is a bit suspicious there. However, we're going to carry on though. Steph still on the back of Plaster, as he's going to go down the inside into turn 10, locks up. Has he got the space? Has Plaster left in the room? Yes, he has. And Steph moves up into 13th place and on a charge now to try and chase down the rest. Meanwhile, Poe on Pazels. Same DRS straight, same corner as last time for the two battlers before. This time though, Poe does not try and get past Pazels. Pazels run wide though into turn 11, so that's going to compromise him. And well, Poe here still trying to get past Pazels, as the two McLarens here did stack, as Plaster now overtaken by Steph now, as Steph moves up into 13th place. Poe here now on the back of Pazels. Can he get a position? Can he get the move done? As he'll try and go down the inside now into turn 1. As we see Darren Sinclair in the distance. Poe down the inside into turn 1, through turn 2. He's got the move done and he goes up into 16th place. The next car for Plaster to defend against is Baumgartner on the soft tyres, but he's sticking on the back of Steph right now. As Steph loses that back end, it's very easy to do. Blizzard now sits a 1:29.9, so 0.3 of a second left before they match Kimi Räikkönen's lap record in 2008. So let's have a little bit of a break here as we see Spike leading the way still. Traw is in second, Blizzard in third, CG's in fourth, the Gort's in fifth, Shunt's in sixth, Light is in seventh, Little Piece 8th, Humbug 9th, Maze is in 10th, Weed Nation 11th, Useless is 12th, Steph in 13th, Plaster 14th, Baumgartner 15th, Poe's in 16th, Darren Sinclair here off the track again, but Pazels then in 17th, Darren Sinclair in 18th, and Räikkönen is in 19th place. The only retirement we've had today is Alan Kay, who retired only a couple of laps in. So then, let's have a look at the battle between Pazels and Darren Sinclair, as once again, Darren Sinclair comes into the pit lane. It has not been in race at all, and he's decided to retire from the session. In all honesty, with the amount of off-track excursions, with the amount of times he's had to come back to the pits, I'm not surprised. He's decided to call it a day, and that'll be it for him. Meanwhile, Blizzard and Traw here. Blizzard sets a 1:21.7 as he now heads down on Blizzard here. as Blizzard, sorry, heads down on Traw. This will be a good battle here. We've only got about 10 laps, we've got about 12 laps to go in this race. Plenty of time then for Blizzard to try and get past Traw and then to try and catch up to the back of Spike. But saying it is one thing, you may have the pace to do it, but actually executing that is another thing. As a Traw runs slightly wide coming out of turn number 5, very easy to do. As we head into turn 7 and 8, which is very easy again to just light up the rear tyres. As we head through turn 9 into the DRS zone now. And, well, Blizzard here right on Traw's tail. Heading into turn 10, then through 11 and 12. Getting that right is crucial here. As we see Blizzard is not going to give Traw any rest here. We head through now turn 13, then through 14 and 15. The chicane is all about getting that right to get it onto the straight here. Get that exit right and you've got to move onto the straight. Traw going defensive straight away, trying to break the slipstream as much as he can, but he's made his move now to try and be defensive. He's got to hold his line. So will Blizzard try and move up the inside? He thought about it, makes Traw run wide though, and into turn 2 and then through turn 3. Are we going to try and see a move around the outside maybe? Traw there is sort of running wide, and now Blizzard could have a chance up the inside. He thought about it though, that's for sure. But Traw runs wide going into turn 4. And could this be a chance here to try and get past? Blizzard here trying to put Traw under pressure here, and it seems to be working. But Blizzard here, more laps go by, the less time is on his side. But of course, Blizzard here is a championship leader, and he needs to get past Traw if he wants to stop Spike from getting any points over him. That's for sure, as he runs wide, as we head on board with Blizzard still, as we had a load of drivers come into the pits there, and you can see Little Piece, Lighty, Baumgartner, they're all on soft tyres now, as they want to try and push towards the end of the race. This is a significant battle, as look at that was a much better exit from Blizzard there, as we now head on to the start finish straight. Can Blizzard find a way past this time against Traw? Moves to the inside, and has he got the move done? Blizzard, he moves back across onto the racing line before the braking zone, and he's ahead. Traw moves down to 3rd place, and Blizzard then hops up into 2nd. 4.4 separates him and Spike. Meanwhile, further down the field, we've got CG here on the back of Humbug. Now CG here is on the soft tyre, Humbug on the hard tyre. I can only really see, once again, this battle going one way, as CG coming around the outside, going through turn 1. That becomes the inside for turn 2, and that's an easy move for CG. He's up into 5th place. Meanwhile, the two Mercedes teammates fighting it out. The Gork made the move onto soft tyres. He's up and out into 7th place, and Mays moves down into 8th place. So then, Spike still leading the way. 4.2 separates him and Blizzard, but you can see Blizzard cutting down that time between them more and more. It'll be interesting to see towards the end of the race then what's going to happen, as Spike has the luxury here. I think that is it's either Raikkonen or Plaster here, but he has the luxury of slipstream but not of DRS. The Red Bull will be getting blue flags any moment now, and it's interesting though he didn't have any DRS, but you can see the battle here now. Traw, I think Blizzard must have made a mistake, because now the gap between them is 5.2. And Traw is right on his gearbox again. Blizzard has to keep his concentration, as we see there CG getting a 1:21.1. That is now quicker than Kimi Raikkonen managed 10 years ago in the real life race. Mays is into the pits, and he puts on a set of soft tyres now, and a load of drivers just opting for a late strategy change onto some soft tyres. So that's an interesting call, as a Light E now sets a 1:21 flat. Well then, I think maybe the soft tyres are the way to go, but will any of the front runners take that risk? The leading front runner on the soft tyres is CG right now. But as you can see, he's away from the leader. We have a look at the gap to the leader. You can see he's 28 seconds behind Spike here. So I don't think it's worth the leaders going on to soft tyres, but the option is there. The pit window is there for them. It's whoever actually wants to do it. And I think in a position like this, you definitely don't want to give it up. We have the fastest laps here of the top three. Spike a 1:21.9, Blizzard a 1:21.7, and Traw a 1:22.4. Meanwhile, you've got Siege there on a 1:21.1 and Light E on a 1:21 dead. Siege then breaks into the 120s. A 1:20.9 he sets there. As Blizzard still trying to close the gap. We see now at the tail end of the group, Baumgartner finding a way past his teammate Poe as the two of them fight it out. Meanwhile, we're going to ride on board with the Gort here because he's trying to chase down Humbug. This is for 6th place as soft tyre against hard tyre. As Haas want to score as many points as possible here today. As I think the Humbug will be trying to hold on to this position for dear life. Not only for him, but for Haas as well. And we'll see what about happens here. As the Gort rather making his own track there. Cutting out a couple of tenths of a kilometre as he tries to chase down Humbug. Humbug going very, very defensive here as the Gort tries to use all the slipstream he can. Goes into turn 10 and has the movement done? No, they're side by side as they go through turn 11 and the Gort there gets his way through and up into 6th place. Good battling from the two of them though. Very fair, very clean. And the Gort finds his way past. Baumgartner still on the back of Poe now. I think Baumgartner may have made a mistake or Poe managed to find a way back through, but Baumgartner finds himself back behind as CG there finds a way past Schunz. And he's now 20 seconds behind CG. What I'm thinking is it possible with the pace he's on to close the gap to Traw? I don't think it is. But we're going to see a little piece here round the outside of Steph. And Steph holding his own out there right now as Little Piece wants more and more points for Haas. And, well, he's just going to keep pushing until he gets what he wants. And that's more points. And Steph here holding his own out there to try and keep that from changing. Baumgartner then still on a charge from his teammate here as the McLarens find themselves 14th and 15th now. Little Piece though isn't done yet. Steph here on the hard tyres, Little Piece on the softs as we've got yellow flags in sector 2 and they're gone now. We'll see now, Little Piece still on the back of Steph here as we've also got Lighty and then you could also see Maze in the distance there as well. So at the moment Spike still leads the way from Blizzard, Traw, CG, Schunz, the Gort, Humbug, Useless, Steph and Little Piece. That's your top 10 right now as Little Piece is doing his best to try and change that by moving up into 9th place. He's not Steph's not making it easy for him though, that's for sure, and I think Little Piece at the momentarily there didn't have DRS and he does now. He was outside of the DRS zone but the telemetry updated and we'll see now Steph slightly locking up going into turn 1 there and not many laps of this race to go. We've got I believe that's 6 laps to go if my maths is right, which it's probably not. Now 5 laps to go. There you are, 5 laps to go of this race. I think it's 5 laps. Yeah, now it's 5 laps. My maths is totally off. 5 laps to go then, and Spike still leading the way. And we'll see here, Little Piece still on the back of Steph, still on his gearbox, still putting him under pressure. Steph runs slightly wide and into the DRS zone. This DRS down this back straight here isn't very useful most of the time unless you're right on their gearbox. Unfortunately for Little Piece that time he wasn't. Steph though still holding his own out there with 5 laps to go, and we will see here if Little Piece can make his way past. As Steph runs off the track there. Interesting line from Steph. I think he made a mistake there. But Little Piece still holding his own out there. Still in the DRS zone, is he? Yes, he is. Or the window, I should say. That's the more technical term. But still can't find a way past Steph. This is only going to frustrate him more and more, as he's now being closed in on by Lighty and Mays. Draw then in third place, still trying to chase down Blizzard. He's got Raikkonen ahead of him to try and lap. And Raikkonen here probably getting some testing miles for Red Bull at this point, as he's had a very frustrating day and a day he'll want to forget. Draw though, still on his way. Blizzard still in second place, 3.7 behind Spike with 4 laps to go. That's almost a second a lap. He's got to be quicker than Spike. It's going to be tough. Unless Spike makes a mistake, which he possibly can do. Unless he makes a mistake, I can't see a way for Blizzard back into this one. Little Piece though, still on the back of Steph. Still. As Mays is now catching up to Light E as well. The battle between these two still heating up. And we'll see now as we come towards the start-finish straight. Little Piece here will close, and you can see Steph going defensive, picking up some marbles there as he tries to go to the inside line. Will still try and defend as Little Piece still on the back of him. Steph locks up going into turn 1, and that's a jump up the inside for Little Piece. And has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Saw the gap, saw the opportunity, and got his way past. Great move from Little Piece there. Just a slight lapse of concentration from Steph, a slightly compromised line, a gap opened up, and that is Little Piece through up into 9th place. Lighty then now trying to defend off from Mays. As you can see up ahead, Steph is not happy with himself. He's still pushing and still wants to find a way past, but he's going to find it difficult with the tyres he's on. Mays though, as those two now in a battle for 11th place. 3 laps to go. As Steph here still trying to chase down Little Piece for that position. Mays is going to try and move up to 11th place, but he's got Light E to deal with at the moment. We've got Poe catching up to Weed Nation as well. A battle for 13th place. It's all happening in the midfield today, that's for sure. I say that as the Gort here is caught up to Shunts and could make a move for P5 here. As Shunts is on the hard tyre, the Gort is on softs. Shunt locks up going into turn 4 here. And loses that back end heading into turn 5. Locks up again. He's really under pressure, and those tyres are giving up now. But can the Gort find a way past? The Gort's teammate Mays is still trying to get past the Ferrari of Light E here. It's been a crazy race full of stops, very different strategies, and a whole load of incidents to keep us all up at night. But it's still been a fantastic race nonetheless. 2 laps to go for Spike, who still leads the way from Blizzard and Traw. As the Gord here looks like he's found a way past Shunts, and he has. I believe that's going into turn 10 there. He found that move. Steph still on the back of Little Piece though. He's not given up on this position, not at all. As he looked down the inside there, not quite though. As Mays thinking about it with Light E as well. Poe here on Weed Nation as Poe runs slightly wide. We've got so many battles to look at, and I'm not sure which one to ride on board with. Spike though is still leading the way. There's Blizzard in second, and Traw is in third. Steph though still on the back of Little Piece. He's not giving up without a fight. Lighty though now on the defence from Mays. And he has got time penalties to add up as well. We've got time penalties to add up at the end of the race anyway, as now Light E holds his own out there for now against Mays. It may be an on-track decision, this one, but the game with all of its penalties will still have to shout. Shunts here. Not catching up to the Gort anymore, of course, because of his tyres. Steph, though, Still on the back of Little Piece as Spike now starts the final lap of the race. Now got to keep an eye on him as well. Too many battles are happening, guys. Although that shouldn't be a complaint of mine, as Poe's still on the back of Weed Nation. Maze is still on the back of Light E. Steph starting to fall away from Little Piece now, but he's not going to give up, that's for sure. As that Spike has fallen down the field. He's got a puncture. Front left puncture for Spike. And it's the longest lap of possible. Well, I said Blizzard may not win this because of the gap, but Spike's front left tyre has completely gone. Oh my goodness, talk about drama. And Blizzard here may be able to win this one. Where's CG out on track? He's not very far away at all from Spike, and Spike could find himself falling down the field. As look at this, he's just trying to push the car as far as he can and as hard as he can with a puncture. Drama right till the last. Blizzard then, he's just hoping now that his tyres hold out, as do Traws. But Spike did pit that one lap earlier, and that one lap earlier has meant that now he's fallen into such hardship here. Blizzard will now round the final few corners, and against all the odds, he was held up in the pit lane. He was held up in a stop. But Blizzard here, out on track, is going to take the win for round 5 at the Spanish Grand Prix. Traw gets home in 2nd place. Can Spike hold on to finish 3rd? CG is coming up to him, but he had such a gap that Spike will take the last place on the podium with a front left puncture, and a huge disaster for Spike there. He'll still come away with a podium, but that's bittersweet. CG will finish in 4th. The Gort finishes in 5th place there. Shunts will come home in 6th place, as we'll see here. Humbug comes home in 7th place for Haas's first points of the season. Useless round in the final corner now, and he takes to the line. He'll grab 8th place. Little Piece then makes it a double scoring, does he, for Haas? Yes, he does. Steph into 11th place as Maze now jumps up into 9th place. It's just a huge crash there. But that was after the line, so that won't matter. Maze moves up to 9th, Little Piece 10th, Steph 11th, Lighty 12th, Weed Nation in 13th then. Plaster is down there, so Poe will finish in 14th. Baumgartner will finish in 15th place here. But I couldn't have told you this a lap ago, that Blizzard would come away with a win here. But that is exactly what has happened. Blizzard here is your winner for the Spanish Grand Prix. Well, drama personified in this race. Blizzard takes the win, Traw takes 2nd, and Spike takes 3rd place, and a puncture decided all of that. So then, your official, unofficial results. Blizzard takes the win with Straw in 2nd, Spike in 3rd place, CG in 4th, the Gort in 5th, Shunts in 6th, Humbug in 7th, Useless is in 8th, Maze is in 9th, I believe that was Little Piece there in 10th place, Steph is in 11th, Light E 12th, Weed Nation 13th, Poe in 14th, Baumgartner 15th, Plaster 16th, Raikkonen 17th, Pazos 18th, and 2 Toro Rossos there of Darren Sinclair and Alan Kay finishing 19th and 20th, or sorry, DNFing. Well, what a race. And a puncture decided it all. Fantastic racing out there. Drama right to the last. The next race, of course, is Monaco. And, well, I can already tell you how much carnage there's going to be. I can tell you that right now. But for round 6, of course, we go to Monaco. Please do join us for that. Well, what can I say other than it's been a fantastic race. Drama right till the last. So please do join us again in Monaco. Advert on the screen. It might have been on the screen before. But anyway, until Monaco, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.